All right, let's talk about the future of Adobe Creative Cloud. By 2026, the AI features coming to apps like Photoshop are going to be, well, genuinely mind-blowing. But they also introduce a whole new way of paying for everything. So we're going to get into the magic and the math.
So, Adobe is rolling out some of the most powerful creative tools we have ever seen, all powered by its Firefly AI and even models from partners like Topaz. But with all these amazing new features comes one giant question. Beyond your monthly subscription, what's the actual cost of using all this magic?
To really get what this whole debate is about, you first have to see what all the excitement is for. We're going to walk through some of the standout AI features in Photoshop that are just completely changing how people create. Seriously, this is the kind of stuff that feels like it's straight out of science fiction. Let's start with something that solves a headache for, literally every designer and photo editor out there, making a subject look like it actually belongs in a new background. And that's where Harmonize comes in. So what Harmonize does is it looks at the background image, the lighting, the color tone, where the shadows are coming from, and then it just automatically applies those exact same properties to whatever subject you dropped in. It's a one-click fix for something that used to take an expert hours of painful manual work. Next up, a tool that tackles another problem we've all faced. You've got this tiny, low-resolution image that you desperately need to make bigger. For years, your only option was a blurry, pixelated mess. Well, not anymore. This is generative upscale. And what's really crucial here is that you get a choice. You can use Adobe's own Firefly AI, which tends to create a softer, more natural-looking result, or, and this is new, you can use models from Topaz right inside Photoshop. And they're famous for producing these incredibly sharp, super detailed images, though some people might find them a little artificial looking. A few years ago, if you told me you could cleanly remove a person who's standing in front of, say, a complex staircase or a chain-link fence, I would have said no way. But now, the new and improved Remove tool is making it a reality. This new Model 3 is a huge leap forward. It's way more accurate, and it rebuilds complicated backgrounds with stunning realism. But I want you to pay very close attention to that last bullet point. It does not use generative credits. Just keep that in the back of your mind because it's a huge exception to the rule we're about to get into. Okay, so we've seen the magic, but all that incredible power has to be fueled by something, right? And now we have to talk about the math. Because Adobe is introducing a new multi-layered cost structure that really changes everything. First, let's just talk about the subscription itself. Based on Adobe's track record and the immense R&D cost of all this new AI, industry analysts are projecting a potential price hike of 15 to 20% for the main Creative Cloud plan by 2026. But honestly, that's just the beginning. And that brings us to the brand new currency of creativity, generative credits. The best way to think of these is like tokens at an arcade. Your subscription gets you in the door, sure, but if you want to play the newest, most advanced games, you need to spend these credits. Remember that magical Harmonize feature? Well, that'll be 5 credits each time you use it. Using a powerful partner model like Gemini for generative fill could cost you 10 credits. And just look at the premium models. You could be spending up to 40 credits for a single image generation. Now, just imagine you're a creative who experiments with dozens of variations for a single project. Those costs are going to add up fast. And this isn't some sudden change out of nowhere. It's really the next logical step in Adobe's long-term game plan. Back in 2003, you bought the software once with Creative Suite. In 2013, they moved everything to a subscription with Creative Cloud. And now in 2026, they're adding a third layer, a pay-per-use credit system right on top of that subscription, making you pay for their most powerful AI features directly. And yeah, this sentiment from Tech Reviewer, Pix and Perfect, really captures how a lot of users are feeling. It's not just about the final price tag. It's the sheer complexity of it all. You've got standard features, premium features, different plans, add-ons, and credit costs that can change. Just figuring out what you're paying for has become a job in itself. So with the costs and the confusion on the rise, a lot of creatives are asking a pretty simple question. What are the alternatives? And if you're thinking about stepping outside the Adobe world, there are some incredibly powerful options out there. And this really highlights a huge difference in how companies think about pricing. While Adobe's All Apps plan is going to run you about 60 euros a month, plus the cost of credits, you can buy the entire Affinity Suite, which is a direct competitor to Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, for a one-time fee of about 165 euros.
For video editors, DaVinci Resolve Studio is an absolute powerhouse, and it's just €295 once. So this brings us to the final verdict. With all of this info, how in the world do you decide if Creative Cloud is still the right choice for you? Well, it really all boils down to your specific needs and your workflow. So how do you choose? Well, staying with Adobe absolutely makes sense if you are deep in their ecosystem. You use multiple apps, you rely on their cloud for collaboration, and you need those bleeding edge AI tools. The fact that their file formats are the industry standard is also a huge deal if your clients require them. But on the flip side, if you only use one or two apps and you really value simple, predictable, one-time costs, it might be time to seriously start looking at switching. And the answer really changes depending on who you are. For an agency, the collaborative perks and the integrated workflow often make the full suite a no-brainer. For a freelancer, though, it's a much tougher calculation between the cost of credits and what your clients are demanding. And for students, the discounts are fantastic, but you have to be ready for a major price shock after you graduate. So ultimately, the question isn't really, is Creative Cloud worth it anymore? It's a choice between two completely different philosophies. As AI becomes the engine for all creativity, are you buying a tool that you own, or are you just renting access to a service? Adobe is betting big on the latter. The only question that really matters is, which model works for you?